is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.
Well, would you look at that? 2 days of raining here in Southern California, and the LA River is flowing. Something you really don't see that often. Honestly, it's kind of grotesque to look at because there's a lot of garbage flowing down the river. But it's also very sad because there's a lot of homeless people that set up camp down here, and today it's all washed away. It's been raining for 2 days here in Southern California. And last night when the rain was coming down, Jessica and I were at home watching a true crime documentary on the Hillside Strangler killings, which were 2 serial killers here in Southern California from October 1977 to February of 1978. And they were actually family members, Kenneth Bianchi and Angelo Buono. They killed people and they would dump the bodies in the hills surrounding Los Angeles, Burbank, Glendale, and Griffith Park. Pretty much right where Jessica and I live.
In the 70s, you had multiple bodies showing up in Los Angeles.
There was no question that Southern California was in a state of panic.
You have serial killers literally all over the city.
This was an ideal killing field for anyone who wanted to get away with these crimes.
We would always say, my God, please, not another one.
It's been 44 years since these murders. I have dreams about victims, and I wake up in the middle of the night and say, don't open that door.
Underneath all of that sunshine, there was the darkest of the dark.
It was a very scary time.
People panicking that their daughter's going to be the next victim. It was just unbelievable.
There were so many murders happening. You had to have a name for it. Serial killer.
Hillside Strangler, Freeway Killer, Sunset Strip Killers, Toolbox Killers, Skid Row Stabber.
LA became the serial killer capital of the world.
This was premeditated evil. No other motive or reason except they like to kill.
What rose out of that was LAPD's robbery homicide unit.
We had no computers.
No DNA. No technology.
You got a job to do, get your hands dirty. It's me against the killer. It's a competition. Who's gonna win? We'll see who laughs last.
Every other day, they were finding a body.
And the killing somehow got even worse.
What came next was unlike anything they had ever seen.
There was a human head in there.
That's when people really started saying, hey, you know what? Now we're not safe.
Pow.
You have this clock. This person that you're hunting is going to do this again if you can't catch them.
Nobody deserves to die like that.
We should try not to remember the killers, but to remember their victims.
You know, someday I thought this would be over, but it never will be.
Now here's the thing. Back in the 70s, Los Angeles was basically the serial killer capital of the world. At one point, there were, I think, 3 or 4 different serial killers operating at the same exact time here. Now, when we first moved here and Jessica and I were looking for an apartment, is whenever the Night Stalker, the Richard Ramirez documentary, came on Netflix, and we were looking for apartments. And we looked at one apartment which was on the bottom floor, and both Jessica and I turned and looked at each other and said, we need something as high off the ground as possible. So we live on the top floor of our building. It's a little bit of a backstory. Everything is so close to home here. So the documentary that we were watching last night was like a 4-part series, I think it was. I don't even think we finished it. We kind of fell asleep. It was pretty in-depth. But while we were watching it, I noticed a building that we pass almost every single day. And I can't believe I didn't know what it was until seeing this documentary. Just a heads up, even though this is a video about the Hillside Strangler killings, we're not going to go to any of the body dumping sites. Nothing like that. Instead, we're just going to focus on the one building that still remains that has caught my attention after seeing this documentary. And that's Angelo Buono's upholstery shop, his place of business where he also lived. And there's a story about a chair that basically brought down the killers.
In Los Angeles, a killer the police are calling the Hillside Strangler has murdered 10 young women and left their bodies on the hillsides along the highways. Today, the police found another, number 11, they think.
2 young paper boys discovered what appeared to be the latest victim. The body had been dumped 15 feet down an embankment in a residential neighborhood. The victim was a woman, about 20 years old, and the body was nude.
The series of murders has had a chilling effect upon the people of the city.
In Los Angeles, more women than ever before are learning how to defend themselves. Susan Ball skipped night school for a week. She says she can't sleep because of the murders.
I guess I just want to learn how to maybe give myself a few seconds so I can live.
There have been enough bodies found over a wide enough area to strongly suggest more than one killer, but police say they really don't know.
Now, I know I said I wasn't going to be visiting any of the body dumping sites during this video, but there's one place we need to visit, and that's where the body of Lauren Wagner was found on November 29th, 1977. She was the 10th victim. I felt it was important to stop and visit where Lauren's body was found. You can't visit her grave. You look on findagrave.com, it says burial unknown, like the details. Somewhere here in Southern California, I'm guessing. But when it comes to her story, basically it's because of her that the Hillside Stranglers were captured. Right now I'm at the intersection of Cliff Drive and Roseview Avenue. Now, all of the research that I've done says that the exact spot where Lauren Wagner was found today is 1217 Cliff Drive. It's just right down here. Now, at the time of recording this in 2022, it's pretty secluded. I can only imagine what it was like back in 1977. I said that Lauren played a very important role in how the killers were caught. And basically, what happened is this. When her body was found and they did the autopsy, they found these fibers on her fingers. And they couldn't figure out where they were coming from. Now, I'm kind of jumping all over the place for this. There's a lot of details. But basically, the 2 killers, Bianchi, he was already in police custody. They already knew that he was responsible for this, but they also knew that there was a second person, his cousin, Buono. Bianchi was trying to do this insanity plea by pretending that he had multiple personalities, and they quickly debunked that.
Bianchi was put under hypnosis.
Close your eyes, Ken.
And that led to something incredible.
You want to talk to me? You talk to me. You're lucky I'm talking to you. You understand?
Steve was profane, evil, and Steve was the one that committed the murders, supposedly. Dr. Martin Orrin ran a school at the University of Pennsylvania that dealt on multiple personalities.
The first day when I met with him, he said, well, he asked me, he said, how many personalities has he displayed at this point? I said, well, we understand he's displayed 2.
Orm is not completely buying this, so he lays a trap. He tells Bianchi, most individuals with multiple personalities have more than 2.
It's very rare for there to be 2, actually. That's one of the things I'm curious about.
Yeah, and if he was faking, then he'd grab onto that hint, and when later hypnotized, he was going to bring out 1, 2, or 3 extra personalities.
When we met with him after the session, he said, watch tomorrow, there's going to be a couple more.
And as I talk to you now, that part of you which has not talked to anyone may come forth. What is your name?
Billy?
All right, Billy. And what is your last name?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next day, Ken Bianchi had come up with numerous personalities. And Dr. Orrin said, this is total fiction. He's making this up.
So they threw that out the window. And whenever Bianchi started talking, he started really explaining how they would kidnap and how they would capture and kill these women. And he started talking about this leather chair in Buono's house, that whenever they would get the girls, they would tie them up, blindfold them, wrap them up like in these plastic electrical cords to this chair inside his house. That was the first place the victims always went. Then they took him into the bedroom, raped them, strangled them, and then dumped them. It's almost impossible to line up any kind of shots from the crime scene photos. But there is a photo where you can see Lauren's legs poking out from the weeds and all the detectives looking at her, surveying the situation. And you can also see that driveway, the concrete right there, just past her legs. Still a pretty secluded area back here. Pretty wild. Our next stop is pretty much in the heart of Glendale, where Angelo Buono, his upholstery shop, still stands. The house has been torn down. There's been some renovation, but you can pretty much make it out exactly. Now, like I said, drive by it all the time, and something about it just kind of triggered some sort of memory with me. And I think it's because, you know, this is what I do. I do research on these locations. Even if I'm not going to go to them, I'm kind of like a research junkie, and I've seen this place, and I couldn't place it again until we watched the documentary. We now find ourselves in Glendale, California, at the intersection of Everett and Colorado. Not too far from this intersection, in fact, just right next to this car wash that you can see in the center of your screen is where Angelo Buono had his trim shop. The sign said, "Angelo's Trim Shop, Custom Interior Restoration, Convertible Tops." Walking up the street, I'm gonna turn and show you guys the lot. The garage is still there, but the house that he was living in is no longer there. It's been torn down. But Angelo, he was living and working there. And like I said, they knew that Bianchi was the killer, and they knew that there was a second one. They just didn't really know how to catch him. So what they did was they set up a sting operation. In the notes it says just east of where the upholstery shop was is where they set up their operation, their base camp, which I'm guessing it would have been like right over here. It says parking for La Cubana. This little part right here, because right across the street, that's where his upholstery shop was. Now, of course, the upholstery garage is no longer here, but it does have something to do with cars. Now it's the A to Z Auto Service, and for the most part, the building is still the same, the garage part. On the left, you can see where it says same day service. That's an addition that's been put on. And you see where the cars are parked on the right-hand side of the parking lot? That's where his house was. Now here's the thing. The cops knew they had the right man. They just couldn't figure out a way to really catch him. So they set up their shop right over here in this vacant lot, and they let him know that they were onto him. They would honk, they would wave, they would call out his name, and he would come out of his house every single day, grab the newspaper from either the front lawn or the driveway, give him the finger, and go back inside. It was no secret.
Jesus, we can't have him go out and killing anybody while we're still investigating this thing. We'd look pretty stupid, wouldn't we? So we told Jerry, this has to be surveillance that is somewhat obvious, and make him aware that we're watching him.
Honk. Honk. Honk a couple times.
We wanted him to know we were there, and he knew it. He knew exactly where we were. Buono would come out every morning, 8:30, pick up his newspaper from the driveway or the lawn, and look over at us and flip us off. and let it go. That's fine. We'll see who laughs last.
Before they found out about the leather chair, they searched his house and his garage and found nothing. The investigators who came in to kind of look for fingerprints stated that it was almost like the entire place was wiped clean. I mean, it makes sense. He knew they were watching him. But the second time they came in, they knew what to look for. They found the chair, and they also found a wallet with pictures of girls on it. To be clear, the wallet didn't have pictures of girls on it. He just had this, almost like a collage of girls' pictures inside the wallet. And when they looked at it closely, they could see that there was a police badge imprint on it. And it made sense, it clicked, because they theorized that that's how they were picking up girls. They were posing as police officers, pulling people over, pulling them out of the car, taking them over to here, inside the house, cuffing them, blindfolding them, putting them in the leather chair, which was sitting right inside the front door, according to pictures that I saw online. And then they would take their victim into the back bedroom, rape them, strangle them, and then dump their bodies. So pretty much all that remains to this day is the original garage part, the back of the garage. The apartment buildings behind are different. The house is gone. This fence is here. And that's pretty much about it. In some of the police surveillance footage, you can actually see him walking out. Over here to the left is where the trash cans were. You can see him going over there, throwing trash away, getting the newspaper. And right over here, this is where the front door to the house was. Even though his house is no longer here and the murder chair is long gone, it still blows my mind to think that so many lives, innocent lives, were taken and destroyed right here. And with that being said, thank you for joining us on another grim adventure, this time telling the story, part of the story, of the Hillside Strangler killings and the death of Lauren Wagner.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.